So, for those of you who don't feel totally comfortable drawing yet, I'd like to share with you something that I like to do that has helped me to improve my draftsmanship and my ability to do storyboarding and very simple drawing is just a simple drawing exercise. And you can do this on a piece of paper. I'm just going to open up Photoshop here, just open up a big blank document and draw on my tablet. But this works just as fine on paper. I'm just going to start by drawing out some circles. I'm going to speed this up since I did this over the course of about an hour or so. I'll draw a lot of straight lines, try to keep them evenly spaced, maybe do a little bit of variation, draw some rectangles, maybe even start into some three-dimensional shapes. Here I'm just drawing out some patterns, and I think the thing about drawing is that you can't think so much about every little stroke. You really need to get in the flow. So I'm doing here a little bit of rhythmic drawing, just drawing some flowing shapes that are evenly spaced, drawing some three-dimensional shapes here, drawing some boxes that have kind of a little bit of depth to them. And I'll really just try to have fun with it. I'll draw out some textures. I really enjoy drawing wood textures. And then I'll do a lot of straight lines and really just thinking about different forms and just getting my hand warmed up. Sometimes I'll just draw out, do a little bit of like texture exploration. Here I'll just draw some circles and play around with variations and see and try to challenge myself how many variations of textures I can draw sort of on the fly. So it's sort of an interesting exercise, getting you thinking about form, thinking about dimension, thinking about texture, and just trying to improve that eye-hand coordination, being able to kind of do what, have your hand do what your mind is thinking. And I really think that comes when you're just letting yourself flow and have fun with it, and just playing around. And even now, I am not a great draftsman, and my storyboards that I do are very simple, a lot of simple shapes. But drawing exercises is really how I went from kind of never drawing, period, to being able to draw enough in terms of storyboards to try to get ideas across, which is really what matters in terms of our type of work and our ability to draw. And I feel like it's really helped me improve my process. Sometimes I'll draw out these fun little scenes. I like these floating little rock island concepts. I'll do little basic characters, trying to play with some different poses here. Like this one guy is kind of shooting at the other one, and this one's kind of bailing. I don't know, just kind of playing with different things, adding these little flag shapes, having some fun with it, and just basically enjoying it. To me, this is a lot of fun to just have the freedom to sort of create. The next thing that I like to do, and if you draw on paper, you could always scan in or take a picture of your sort of form drawing, and then I like to think about color too, and think about texture, and think about the way that colors mix together. And this is just another nice thing that I want to get better at in Photoshop. So I'm just grabbing some colors and some brushes and working on this wood texture. I have sort of a base brown, and then come in with some darker shades of brown, and then even another darker shade of that. Then sort of come in with a lighter highlight, and then zoom out and just try to build sort of an interesting texture, and just playing with texturing in Photoshop too is something I want to get better at, and something fun to play with. Another thing I like to do is just simple color exploration, just matching different complementary colors. Color can be something that you have to sort of feel your way through, and something that's been hard for me to improve at. But just opening up Photoshop and throwing colors on top of each other and trying to play with the different color libraries and find nice shades that I think look good, and that I think look good together. And for me, I like to keep it simple and use a lot of complementary or split complementary basic schemes. And here I decided I wanted to add a little bit of color pass onto my little bullet object here, add a little bit of gloss to it. And I was thinking of like bullets that have like discolored tips, kind of like a red tip or a gold sort of cap. And this is for no reason other than to think about forms, think about color, think about texture, and play with the tools as well. Play with the brushes in Photoshop. Here I'm using one of Kyle's Xerox style brushes that give this like rough photocopy look to everything. And here I'm just stacking some colors together, just seeing what I think looks good. And I got sort of to this stage and I decided that I had all this blank space. So I wanted to fill in with just one last big shape just to complete my canvas here just for fun. And it kind of turned into this, I don't know, sort of open bag of flour or something. Some type of sack that had these sort of capped edges on the corners. And to me, this is really how I began to make small improvements in my ability to do storyboarding, was to just play with forms, draw circles, draw squares, draw contour, draw perspective, and things like that. So hopefully this gives you some insight into kind of how you can improve in this area if it's an area that you do want to improve. And like most things, the improvement comes through doing a lot of it. So if you want to get better at storyboarding, I'd encourage you to push yourself to do drawing exercises, drawing the simple shapes over and over and over, getting your mind in that flow, and really beginning to get your eye-hand coordination up, which I think is key. And then playing with color and texture as well can be helpful. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.